The sun was already sinking when they realized the car was no longer slowing down because of the road, but because it was dying. And in that terrifying moment, standing in the middle of endless sand with no signal, no shade, and no one around for miles, this couple understood a brutal truth that most people never face in their lifetime. They might not make it out alive. This is a true story that happened in 2018, and what followed became a desperate battle between love, endurance, and one of the most unforgiving places on Earth. They were a young couple on a road trip, excited, relaxed, and completely unaware that one wrong turn off the main highway would change everything. At first, the desert felt peaceful, almost beautiful, stretching endlessly under a wide blue sky. But when the engine began to sputter and finally went silent, the silence that followed was heavy and unnatural. No passing cars, no wind, just heat. They tried restarting the engine again and again until the battery gave up, leaving them with nothing but a dead vehicle and rising panic. Their phones showed no signal, and the temperature inside the car climbed rapidly, turning it into an oven. They waited at first, believing someone would pass by, but as hours went on, the sun burned hotter and their water supply shrank faster than they expected. Every decision now mattered. Leaving the car felt dangerous, but staying felt deadly. They argued quietly, fear pushing its way into every sentence, until they agreed to wait until evening to conserve energy. As night fell, the desert turned cold and cruel, and the same place that tried to cook them during the day now threatened to freeze them in the dark.
By the second day, thirst became their greatest enemy. Their lips cracked, their heads pounded, and every movement drained precious energy. The couple leaned on each other, both physically and emotionally, sharing memories, jokes, and promises just to stay awake and focused. At one point, the man considered walking to find help, but the endless horizon offered no clear direction, and the risk of collapsing alone in the heat was too high. They stayed together, choosing love over reckless hope. As the hours dragged on, hallucinations began to creep in. The woman swore she could see buildings in the distance, while the man heard faint engine sounds that vanished the moment he focused on them. Panic came in waves, followed by moments of calm where they simply held hands, accepting the possibility that this might be the end. Still, they refused to give up. They used pieces of clothing to create shade, wrote a message on the car window, and rationed the last drops of water with painful discipline. On the third day, their bodies were failing. Standing became difficult, and their thoughts slowed. But just when hope was almost gone, a distant cloud of dust appeared on the horizon. At first, they didn't trust their eyes. Then the sound grew louder. A vehicle. They gathered the last of their strength, waving frantically, shouting until their voices cracked. A local worker driving through the area noticed the car and stopped, stunned to find them still alive. They were rushed to safety, severely dehydrated but alive. Doctors later said that staying with the car, conserving energy, and supporting each other emotionally had saved their lives. The desert tested them in every possible way, stripping away comfort, certainty, and control. What remained was raw human will and the unbreakable bond between two people who refused to let go of each other, even when the world around them felt endless and empty.